Yes, it's your first birthday.
Who would have guessed that this is a lot more enjoyable when the weather is nice and cool?
I'm Leni, an ecologist and in my early 30s. In the beginning of the year, I made my two biggest dreams come true. I adopted a rescue puppy and bought a piece of land, including a derelict cottage, which I want to turn into a beautiful homestead for us and a safe haven for wildlife. This is our story.
Hello, I'm back. The wind is gone, but now the heat is here. There is a heat wave or a dome over Europe at this moment, which you might be going through yourself or have heard of. I'm in a region where it's not supposed to get that bad, but for here, it's getting pretty hot. It's supposed to be 35 degrees today, around 37 degrees tomorrow, and then cool down on Sunday. But kind of the problem is these are the 2 days that I have the most time to actually work on my building site. So I will have to see how I can manage that, work a bit in the morning and in the evening, and maybe use the hottest part of the day to do some research, which actually takes quite a lot of time, and you don't see any of that on here. So the plan for today is to tackle my problem wall of the cabin. This is the wall that's in the worst condition. It's the west facing one, so it makes sense because that's where most of the weather comes from. And I'm now debating if it doesn't make more sense to, I think you call it repointing, if it doesn't make more sense to do that first to stabilize it more and then put the triangles on to stabilize it even more. But I want to see which bricks are so that they will just come out all together and clear out the spaces in between the other bricks so that I can repoint them. I have this tiny, whatever you call it, and my little hammer. I didn't want to go, or I wanted to try out starting with these small tools to not overdo it. And I also still need to deal with those roof tiles. I'm thinking if it might be a good idea to go into the inside and just try to tip them to the outside, and if something falls with them, those bricks will have been too loose to stay in my wall. It's 11 a.m. and the sun has already moved its way around almost completely, so there's just a little bit of shade left for me to work in. But while working here, I actually finally have a plan for myself how I want to approach this problem wall. I have absolutely no experience in what I'm doing here. This is all just based on some research, so please don't take this as a how-to video. But my research told me that I have to clear the, what do you call these? These spaces in between the bricks to a depth of about 1.5 times the height. So that would be around 1.5 to 2 centimeters. Some of the mortar is already just crumbling out. It's pretty easy to clear them. I will be replacing some of these rocks that are, or some of these bricks that are frost damaged. The damage probably comes from the fact that at some point, I'm not sure if it has been from the start, but at some point they used a cement mortar. And the problem with cement mortar is that it can't breathe, so the breathing of the building, or if any water is in these bricks, the bricks have to pass that water, if that makes sense. So the water gets stuck in the bricks and not in the mortar, and the bricks start cracking. As far as my research goes, you want to have a mortar in between the bricks that is softer than the bricks. So if something breaks, that the mortar breaks and not the bricks, which the mortar is a lot easier to replace than the whole bricks. So I am planning on using a lime mortar, which is made up of lime, sand, and water, to replace this. I would love to test because here at some point it's so fine. I am wondering if that wasn't lime mortar, so that they initially built this building with lime mortar and then at some point repointed it with cement mortar. Lime mortar is softer than bricks, or the lime mortar that I would use, and would be able to pass water through, so that it actually pulls the water from the bricks, so that there is a less chance in the bricks cracking from frost damage. I hope that makes sense. So, as I said, my plan is to clear out these cracks to about 2 centimeters or more if the mortar is so fragile, so already so broken. And when I repoint them, I'm not really sure in what order I am supposed to do this. There's some bricks that need to be replaced because they have had severe frost damage. What order would be the most stable? I am thinking that I will just be clearing the cracks at this point, and when I start repointing them, then I will take out the broken ones and replace them while I repoint, so that this wall can stay as stable as possible. I hope that makes sense. It's 5:30 p.m. now. The sun has moved around to shine directly onto this wall. But I hope that it's a bit more bearable because it has lost its intensity, because I really want to continue this project. And hopefully, if everything goes as planned, have this finished this week so that next week I can actually repoint this. But as far as this whole process has gone already, that's probably not going to happen, but I can at least try. I'm back at it with my problem wall. Who would have guessed that this is a lot more enjoyable when the weather is nice and cool? I finished a part on that side last weekend during the heat wave, and a whole bunch over there yesterday. So that leaves the center part for today, which I hope I can get finished. I did find out something cool that I can demonstrate here. You can see these two different mortar types, and using some essence, some vinegar with high percentage of acid, you can do this little test. Number 1, nothing really happens, and number 2, it gets all fuzzy. I hope you can see that, which means that this has lime in it. If it's pure lime mortar or a lime cement mix mortar, I can't really tell, but this one over here, that is just pure cement mortar. And this does make me really happy because it means that by repointing it, I am taking away the cement mortar and will be replacing it with lime mortar, which is already there, which this structure was probably originally built with. And that means that I can once again regain the breathability of this building and don't have to work with plastic. Can use natural materials and make the room climate in there a lot nicer. In honor of this little girl's first birthday, yes, it's your first birthday, I want to give a shout out to the organization Das Schwarze Schaf, and especially a Romanian police officer, Maria, who found Makita and her siblings in the forest, left there on their own at about 3 months old. She brought them back to her shelter, and if it weren't for her, Makita and her siblings would most likely not be alive, let alone Makita being here. And I am so grateful for that, because she is my best friend. She's my companion, my little protector here. I also had the honor of meeting Maria personally a few weeks ago and was just so happy to show her how well Makita is doing and that she has found her absolutely forever home. So I would like to send over some love to them because they are doing an amazing work. I thought that we could maybe make this a yearly tradition, that her birthday video, or the revenue that her birthday video gets for the month of July, will go directly to the organization. If you want to send some love or check them out, I will leave their website and their Instagram down below. They rescue cats and dogs in Romania and try to find them the perfect family. In Europe, it's Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland, and I think a few other European countries as well. They also castrate local animals and just do amazing work, and they deserve a lot of love and a lot of support. So if you want to send over some love, please do. And if you are looking to get a new family member, please remember to adopt and don't shop, because there are so many wonderful animals out there who are still looking for a good home. I think I'm finally finished. I don't know how many times I hit my hand during this endeavor, and I'm not sure that when the time comes to do the other walls I will actually go ahead and use these tools. I don't know how many meters of these, I think you call them joints, I scraped out with a 1 centimeter, what do you call this? It works, I can tell you that, but it's kind of an annoying job. This hole cabin needs to be repointed, and at some point also the cottage. I'm pretty sure that that is also jointed with cement mortar. I would have to go and investigate if it was also originally built with lime mortar and then just repointed with cement. Anyway, these joints still need to be cleared out totally of the little crumbly parts. I will do that with a hose when it comes to repointing them, because I need to wet down the whole structure or the joints to do that anyway, so I can do that just in one swoop. I am hoping to get the lime mortar for next week so that I can repoint this. I'm not sure if I will be able to do that. I have contacted a building store and they wanted to check if they could order just a few bags for me, because I first have to try out how this works and if I can work with it. And I would like to try it out with just a few bags before ordering a whole bunch. Thank you guys so much for joining me this week, and I hope to see you next time.